Hi everybody, welcome to the North American Pizza and Culinary Academy here in Chicago. My name is Leo Spizzirri and I'm here to share a very special moment, something that we've been waiting a long time for. Today we're talking about platinum yeast from Red Star, and what we're talking about is creating platinum moments. There's no better way for me to show you guys a platinum moment than to be here with my family. I want to introduce my business partner, Anthony Iannone, his daughter, Gabriella, and my daughter, Giada. And today what we're going to be doing, if you follow along these past few weeks, you'll have seen my step-by-step instructions for creating the perfect grilled pizza at home. If you haven't already done so, when we're all done today, you can go and check out all the videos at redstaryeast.com/platinum. So without further ado, let's get going. We're gonna need to make some dough, and my two cute little assistants today are gonna help us out. Gabriella is gonna be showing you the technique of creating a little well inside of the flour. The well is going to be really just so that we can add our water and everything inside. And Giada is going to be our official ingredient putter-inner. What do you call it? What are you going to do? Ingredient putter-inner sounds pretty good, all right? So Gabriella is making an ingredient person. There you go. So now that we've got a little bit of room to pour our water, we're going to go ahead and Giada really slowly go ahead and pour the water into the well. Okay, good job. Look at that steady hand, folks. She comes from good stock.
The whole thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
The thing that I love so much about platinum yeast from Red Star is that this is really what we call better baking made easy, right? We've taken the intimidation, everything out of the process of baking. This is so simple. We've literally got our kids doing it. I've got a 7-year-old and a 6-year-old, so don't tell me at home that you can't do what we're doing, all right? So now what she's doing, she put a little bit of sugar into the water, and she's sprinkling that packet of yeast right directly onto the water, so that this way we've got a little bit of chance to absorb some of that water into the yeast, and it's going to help blend really good.
Go on with your hands, Gabriella. Start mixing like you did.
Gabriella's doing this technique that we do a lot here at the school in our kids' classes, and what she's doing is basically we tell our kids, make the number 5, make the iron claw for all your old wrestling fans, turn it sideways, and you have a whisk. And she's using her hand to now gently bring the flour into the water, and she's creating a paste. My grandma used to say back in the day, again, using Red Star yeast, this is something that's been in our family forever. She would say, you never want to mix the salt and the yeast together, honey, because the salt is going to kill the yeast, right? And what we're doing is we're creating a barrier. So this action of creating this gluten net, if we will, is really simple, and it's that one little step that's going to make a good pizza dough great. Okay? So now, as you can see, this is a really fun step, especially for the kids. I don't know about you guys. In our house on Sunday mornings, me and Giada have two things that we do. We either make slime or we make pizza dough. What's your favorite to make?
Wait.
Pizza dough or slime? What do you like to make better?
Both.
Both? Okay, there we go. So
Maybe like
the platinum moments,
more.
you know, again, this really comes back to baking with my family. Anthony baking with his daughter, me baking with mine. As a kid, I can remember growing up, being no taller than them, and actually they're still, I'm still not that much taller than them. But I remember as a kid being in the kitchen with my grandmother and my mother, and we talked about it in the video, that great thing that Red Star yeast was always in our kitchen. My grandmother made these beautiful focaccia breads and these really old school pizzas in a pan. She would bake in a sheet pan. And all of this process that we're doing was something just like, no different than I was doing with my family when I was a little kid, and we're passing the torch on to the next generation. Now, what we've got is the dough is coming together. Giada's going to put the salt on top. Go ahead, sprinkle all the salt inside. Throw it all in there. There you go. Perfect. Now she's going to start mixing this really, really quickly, because at the very end, once we see all of the flour gets absorbed into this dough, we're going to pour in the oil, and we're going to finish and make a nice smooth dough. So that we have a lot of time to answer a lot of questions and everything today, we're going to kind of get this going, and we're already got some doughs already made, and we're going to show the process of kneading.
wants to mix a little.
Giada wants to mix a little too?
So we'll let Giada mix some too.
Okay,
wash
come
your
on.
hands off, and then.
Let's go ahead. I think what we're going to do at this point, let's go ahead and add this oil in there. So we got all of our ingredients inside of the bowl. And then just with a little bit of time, Giada, we're going to push this to the side so that we can keep going over here. All right? Let's push these down over here. There we go. And again, what we're going to do is I've got all of the dough that's already prepared. If you're doing this process at home, the greatest thing I can tell you about making dough by hand is before you go ahead and use that stand mixer in your kitchen, if you understand the development process of the dough, as the dough is coming together, you're going to see that maybe you're going to come out with a smoother dough, a less tense dough, more relaxed, right? The other thing is I have a lot of people saying, I'm mixing by hand. How do I know if I'm going to overwork the dough? Believe me when I tell you, you're going to be overworked way before the dough ever is. And this is one of the great things. You really can't make a mistake because at this point when this dough is all done, we're going to let this dough rest for about 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to let the water absorb into that flour, and Mother Nature is taking over the mixing process for us, right? So this is the point that we're at right now. Giada, I'm going to have you stop, and I'm going to have you push this over to the side, my dear, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to get a dough that's already made. So this dough has basically been sitting out for a little while, and you can see after this dough was really nice and mixed, it was kneaded. We let it rest for about 20 minutes. This has probably been out for about a half an hour now, and all of a sudden we've got this dough that, look at that jiggle. Jiggle, 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 huh?
Can I feel it?
How about that? Yeah, touch it a little bit. It's sticky, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to take this out. And if with any luck at all, it'll all come out of the bowl really nice and smooth. And you can see that as we pulled this out of the bowl, we knocked some of the air out of this, which is one of those things that my grandma used to do when I was a kid. Watch, what we're going to do. We're going to knead this now. I'm going to make a couple folds so that we can get this nice and back together. And Giada, maybe you should help us since you want to get your hands dirty. We use a process that I teach on our little kids' classes where we say, all right, when we knead, the way that we knead our dough, we fold the dough over, and then we use the heels of our palms, this part of our palms here. And the idea is that a lot of people, when they knead, want to push straight into the table. But what we're doing here is, I'll help you. What we're going to do is we're going to take the dough, push it back about halfway, and then with the palms of our hands, I say, it's just like showing somebody how an airplane takes off. How does an airplane take off? Vroom, right? Just like this. And this is the idea. And what we want to do is we want to go back and then push forward and back and forward. And this is going to complete our mixing process, okay? So this is something that's really simple, and you can see all the beautiful air bubbles that are retained in here. At this point, once you have this dough and it's fully kneaded and everything is going really good, what we're going to do is we're going to have you to make dough balls, right? You're going to divide this, and we gave you instructions in our recipe so that you know how to divide this. A batch of dough like this, you can easily do 2, 3, 4 dough balls, depending on the size of the pizza that you want. And then if my partner Anthony gives me a hand, you guys can have that. I'm going to bring out some doughs that are completed.
He's like going to just like toss it.
Okay, we're going to do 2, and I'm going to grill these live. I'm going to show you 2 different techniques at once. Here's our pizza dough all nice and ready to go and done. And the girls are going to demonstrate a technique that we use. Yeah, go ahead. Here, you take this one, and I'll take this one. Take the plastic off. The girls are going to demonstrate a technique that we use, again, in our kids' classes. And I know a lot of grown-ups that have seen this technique in the videos and have made a lot of comments to us that, let's just go like this.
Feels like a big bubble.
It is a big bubble. There's a lot of air in here. This is exactly what we're looking for. So before you smash it, we want to keep all the air in here. What Anthony's doing, hold on a second. Anthony's taking a little bit of oil, and he's going to rub the oil all the way around this bowl. And this is one of those techniques that we use to teach kids how to stretch a dough nice and easy and uniform all the way around. And again, I know a lot of adults have made comments in our feeds on social media. If you haven't had a chance to check out at Red Star Yeast and at Ask Leo Pizza, I gave you a lot of tips and tricks in those social media feeds. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take this out, okay? And the girls are going to use that technique of the olive oil on the bowl, and they're going to stretch the dough on the back of the bowl because there's only so far that you can go. You can't make too thin of a middle. You can't make too thick of a side, and that's the technique that they're going to use. I'm going to show you the technique on the back of a sheet pan. If you want links to the post, to the recipes that we're making today, you'll see the link to the website and all of the stuff that we're doing right on this post. So when we're done, you can follow back. Just look in the comments of this post, okay? I'm taking a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to go on the back of a sheet pan just like this. And the idea here is that, again, I'm creating a lubricated surface just like this, okay? And now, just like the girls did, I'm going to take my dough, I'm going to push it onto the oil, I'm going to flip it around, and then I'm going to use very light fingers, the pads of my fingers, and I'm just pressing this down like this, and you can see all of those big air bubbles. You hear that? That's beautiful. Those bubbles are still intact. And we're going to make some nice pizzas. The girls, how's your dough looking over there, Anthony?
They got it good.
They're looking good? Is it ready to go on the grill?
They're ready. Let's pass it down to. Let's pass it down.
I think so.
Look at how beautiful and elastic this dough is. This is exactly what we're looking for. And all of those crusts are going to be very airy and open. I'm showing you a process that is using a Parbake process. And there's a reason for we're doing this, and I'm going to talk to you about this here in just a minute. I'm going to put just a little bit more oil just in the center over here, and I'm going to use my hands, and I'm just going to kind of tap this around. So as I peel this off of the bowl, look at how beautiful this is already, a nice circle. Can you see how beautiful this is already? And what I'm going to do, I've got my grill that's real here. We're going on the stove, right? And this is a grill pan that we're using. If we were outdoors, we'd be using the same method. My grill here, just like in the instructions when we do it outdoors, is 450 degrees. And what I'm going to use is one of these kind of laser thermometers. And if I did my job right over here, look at that. I'm at I'm at a little over 469. This girl has been sitting here for a little bit without anything on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this crust just like this, and you're going to hear the sizzle. Can you hear that sizzling and popping?
Is some sizzling.
And now let's take this one. I'm going to stretch this one into a rectangle. This will be like that salad pizza that we made, okay? And this is going to be a great base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just lay this on the grill here. I'm going to stretch it so the sides are squared off, just like this. And now we're going to let it sit here just for a minute. We had a question. If you have any questions, please go ahead and feel free to answer them. I'm going to ask them. I'm going to answer them during this feed. We have a question. Can I Parbake the crust in the oven? So what we're doing here, the idea of doing this grilled pizza recipe is that we're trying to create these grill marks. Here's some Parbakes that I've already made ahead of time. And if you're having, let's say, a party, okay, and you were to make a lot of these, you could absolutely use these crusts, have everything all ready to go, and then a bunch of ingredients and just top them, okay? But as far as doing this dough, this is a really versatile dough formula. So absolutely, if you wanted to stretch out the dough like this, I would tell you go ahead and get your oven nice and hot. We're using an Emile Henry pizza stone inside of our oven, so you would bake it the same way, just on top of the stone. But the idea is that you're going to get that beautiful charred flavor that comes from the grill, right? And I love this method. If you got a grill pan, they're fairly cheap. You could find them all over the internet, and then just use some kind of thermometer to test the temperature, and you'll be able to Parbake at home. What I'm going to do, I need a couple tools over here, right? So I've got a long set of tongs, because we don't want to burn ourselves. And then I'm using this offset spatula. This is a pretty big one, right? But the idea is that I don't want to kind of tear into this dough. If I did my job right over here, I can kind of get underneath just like this, lift up, and then it's like a pancake. So there's a beautiful crust.
It looks like a crepe.
Go ahead. What's your question, Jada?
What if when you were making them, what if they like got stuck to each other?
Well, this is why we want to do one at a time, and this is also why we're putting olive oil. Because the olive oil, even if they stick a little bit, will not let them stick to each other for very long. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, flip it right over, pretty close, and we're going to let this cook just like this. And the idea, what's happening here now, you can see those beautiful grill marks that we've created. The grill marks that are here, all right, again, is going to give you a lot of flavor, and this is what we love, right? If you're at home, there's many types of grill. We're using this grill pan, but let's say you have a propane grill or a charcoal grill. You could absolutely use a charcoal grill to do this, but mind you, we're looking for a temperature of about 450 degrees because we don't want to burn these. This is one of those things that over the years I've had questions all the time come back to us here at the Academy about my grilled pizzas. It seems like they're burnt before I ever have a chance to finish the toppings. So this is a foolproof way to do grilled pizzas that you're going to be very successful, and the final product I can't wait to show you. But yes, if you do use a grill, keep in mind we're looking for, on a charcoal grill, a temperature of about 450 degrees. If you can, try to use even indirect heat. Maybe put if you got a kettle-style grill, maybe you would line your charcoal in a ring and then put your crust right in the middle, and it'll give you a really uniform, consistent bake. I can tell right now because inside this room, the whole place smells like toast right now. It's a beautiful, beautiful smell. And if you're doing this at home, this is going to be a really awesome thing because, again, we're talking platinum moments. What better way, I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, I remember Sunday morning waking up and my mother was making sauce and she had bread making and all this other stuff, and the whole house was that perfume. And I still remember those things to this day. So again, this whole thing done by hand, done from scratch. Red Star has made it so easy with this platinum yeast that you'll be able to do this so simply, and I hope that you just trust me. Use the recipe exactly the way we wrote it, and you're going to have a lot of success. Please, please, please. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back over here, and let's check the other side of this crust. Oh, you guys seeing this? Look at this crust.
That looks like a tortilla, like a fat tortilla.
Yeah, kind of like a fat tortilla. I guess you're right.
Like a puffy tortilla.
Would you call it a gordito or
What's
gordita? That's how you say fat in Spanish, right?
I don't know.
So what I'm going to do, let me take this one off over here. And again, look at these beautiful grill marks. Look at all of these bubbles. And this is what we're talking about. This is what we're looking to achieve here. When you have a crust now that's baked, just again, we took just a few minutes to bake these crusts. These crusts are beautiful, light, airy, open. They're not overworked. You notice that even when the girls stretched the dough over the bowl, it wasn't snapping back at them, right? This is because that platinum yeast from Red Star has these dough enhancers inside. And those dough enhancers are going to do two things. They're going to improve the structure of this dough. So all of those beautiful air bubbles that are created by the yeast are going to be locked in and retained very easily. And then again, this is also one of those things that this yeast is going to let you open up that dough, and it's not going to fight and resist you, right? We're going to make right now, using these crusts, okay, we're going to show you probably one of the girls' favorite pizzas. We've been testing these a lot, and I can tell you right now that s'mores pizza is definitely when they're, look at that, they're already licking their chops. They can't wait. What's your favorite part of the s'mores pizza?
The whole thing.
The whole thing. I love that.
Just eating it.
Eating it? Yeah. So let's do this. Go ahead. What do you think?
Mine is all like chocolate and Nutella.
Chocolate and Nutella? You can tell she's Leo's kid, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to take these crusts, we're going to flip them over. One side of your crust is going to be really bubbly, and the original side that went on the grill first is going to be flat, right? So this is up to you what preference you have as far as what side to top. I really like to top the bubbly side because I like to see the bubbles kind of peeking through all the toppings. And we're making a dessert pizza right now, but if this was, let's say, a savory pizza with sauce and mozzarella and all that other kind of thing, I made a beautiful sausage and ricotta pizza that I gave you my recipe for. If you haven't tried that one yet, believe me, go ahead and try it because everybody in the neighborhood is going to be knocking on your door because you're going to be their favorite pizzeria in the neighborhood. So what we're going to do, the girls here are going to start off with some Nutella. I'm going to bring one down here. Okay? Yep. What the girls are going to do, they're going to start out, and we're going to caramelize some sugar in the oven. Think of making creme brulee with a blowtorch, right? So what they're going to do, they're going to sprinkle just a little bit of water. They're going to brush a little bit of water on the base, and then they're going to spread sugar in the raw, or turbinado sugar, they call this. They're going to spread this on top, and the idea is that the sugar is going to stick to the water in the crust itself, and then when we stick it inside the oven, it's going to kind of melt and stick to the dough. And then once we come out of the oven, that's when we're going to finish it with all of our beautiful Nutella and graham crackers and marshmallows and everything else that we love. You guys are doing a great, great job. Keep putting there, keep putting the sugar. Fantastic.
I'm spilling it all over.
What Anthony's doing right now, he's going into the oven, okay? When Anthony's going into the oven, he's using a pizza peel, and that flat little thing that we're using, this isn't a ping pong racket, right? He's using that pizza peel to transfer the pizza into the oven, and inside of the oven, we've got 2 of those Emile Henry pizza stones. These are square ones. They have squares, they have rectangles, they're all different sizes, okay? So the reason why we're doing this is because those 2 Emile Henry stones, all right, you've got one on the bottom rack and one on the top rack. Brian, why don't you come over here? Come on, man. This is Brian, if you guys don't know. Maybe I'm embarrassing him right now. Brian, check this out. Come in a little closer. I'm going to show you the placement of these 2 pizza stones. And the reason why we're doing these 2 stones like this is because every oven on the top has that element. And that element is going to create a lot of heat flashing down on top of our pizza. By putting these 2 stones in this method, what we're doing is basically recreating a brick oven inside your home oven. So no matter what that element is doing, you have 2 very even heat sources. My temperature on my oven is 450 degrees. I'm going to close the door because pizzas bake a lot better with the oven door closed, right? And the girls right now, what we're going to do, let's clean up a little bit over here. Let's wipe off our surface. We got a mop-in somewhere. There we go. Go ahead, clean your surface. This is worse than your bedroom. Clean up. Wipe. What's your question? Can you cook the pizza with only 1 stone? Yes, absolutely you can cook this pizza with 1 stone. The great thing about having the 2-stone method, though, is that you've got 2 now constant heat sources flashing and radiating that heat. The 1-stone method, you need to be careful because when that element in the oven is flashing on the pizza directly, this is when we get a lot of those calls saying, I baked your dough, I made the crust, I put the sauce and cheese and everything on, and the cheese was browned way before the crust was ever done. So by doing these 2 stones, this is going to extend the bake time, give you a really crispy bottom and a really nice finished top, okay? So it's going to be very easy. But absolutely, you can do that. Another question, how long can the dough be stored in the refrigerator? So the refrigerator is great because what we're doing, by letting the dough sit cold, the dough is going to create flavors, the perfume of that yeast, right? Those sour, almost fermented notes are going to come out. You can do this in, let's say, maybe 2 days. I would say you can store this dough easily 2 days. But what happens is, this is when we talk about the strength of the flour. We're using all-purpose flour from King Arthur, which is 11.7% protein. And this is a really good mid-weight flour. So if you had 2 days in the refrigerator, it'll be fine. The dough will stretch nice and easy. You'll still get those beautiful bubbles. But what I would suggest is, if you don't use it within 2 days, kind of make a brand new, nice, tight dough ball out of it, stick it inside a plastic bag, seal it closed, and stick it in your freezer for up to a month, and that'll be really good. When it's time to use that dough out of the freezer, go ahead, put it on the counter. If out of the freezer, stick it in your refrigerator overnight, and then put it on the counter for about 2 hours, let it warm up, and then you'll be at the same point as we're in now. Anthony, how are those crusts looking right now?
Just about ready.
Almost ready? That's fantastic. So, girls, yesterday I watched Gabriella make some dough. What was your favorite part about mixing that dough with your hands?
Okay.
Or what was not your
Watch
favorite
out,
part?
hot stuff.
Well, I didn't really have one.
You didn't really have one?
It was all fun.
It was all fun. I love that. Jada, you make dough with me all the time. What's your favorite part of making dough?
Mixing it.
Mixing it?
Like with my hands.
Getting your hands dirty?
No, like
gonna
just
put some on there and then
getting
you spread
forming it into dough.
I love that. Getting it to the dough. That's my favorite part too.
My favorite's eating it.
So what the girls are doing, They've got some Nutella over here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Nutella is a hazelnut spread made with a little cocoa powder and some other stuff. This comes from Italy. I've been eating Nutella sandwiches all the way as long as I can remember. Now the terrible thing is that it's popular all over the place, and it's sometimes when I go to the grocery store, it's hard to find Nutella. But the Nutella is one of those ingredients that's awesome. And the girls are using just a rubber spatula. They're spreading it out. What I like to do, can I show you what I like to do in here? I like to take a big glob of this Nutella, just like this, and go all around. Look at that. All around. And now use the spatula and spread it out. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the chance to put as much Nutella as you want on this thing.
Gianna doesn't like Nutella, does she?
Oh, no, I don't like Nutella. She loves Nutella.
Okay.
All right.
So this is something, let's say you go to the grocery store or you're in a part of the country where maybe you can't find Nutella. You could easily replace this with chocolate chips, things like that. I've also done this. I know we're doing s'mores, but I've done also the different things that we've tried this with peanut butter and other spreadable types of ingredients. So if you can't find Nutella, go ahead and try chocolate chips as your plan B. Use chocolate bars, whatever you want. The idea is that we're making a s'mores, okay? So now, on top of this, our next ingredient, what we've done is we've got some graham crackers that are chopped up, okay? The graham crackers are going to spread, and they're going to be spread all over the Nutella. And we're going to give them a chance to do this. If you want these grilled pizza recipes, make sure you visit redstaryeast.com/platinum. You'll see my beautiful smiling face. You'll see the red neckerchief. And all of the instructions are here to make the dough, to make the sausage and ricotta pizza, to make the salad pizza, to make this s'mores pizza. I even gave you my recipe to make my homemade pizza sauce, which is phenomenal, okay? How's your graham crackers looking? Throw them on there. What are you making, an art project? Atta girl. Okay, now let's do the marshmallows. We can't have s'mores without marshmallows.
Of course not.
Do you guys like a little bit of marshmallows or a lot of marshmallows?
A lot.
You sure?
Unanimous.
More than a lot.
What I would say is, to me, what's going to be
Spread all
enough is I
around.
want a nice balance between marshmallows and graham crackers and Nutella. So again, the idea is that when these go in the oven, you're going to see something amazing happen, because as soon as these marshmallows go into the oven, it takes 2 minutes, 450 degrees for 2 minutes, okay? What's going to happen in 2 minutes, the marshmallows are going to puff up. They're going to get nice and toasted on the outside, and then we're going to pull them out, and we're going to show you how we finish them, because I have a feeling these girls are going to want to taste them.
Oh,
Or you don't want to taste these today.
Well, maybe we'll save them for after dinner.
Oh, yeah.
No!
We're having broccoli.
No!
We're having lots of vegetables.
No.
Okay, that's enough marshmallows,
What
Jana.
we're having is candy.
Go ahead. We're going to put these into the oven. So again, 2 minutes is what we're looking at. What about fruit pizzas? One of the pizzas that I love, and this is if you typically go into maybe an Italian wood-fired pizzeria, one of the things I love is that the dessert pizza with Nutella really has a lot of variations. So we can use things like maybe sliced strawberries or blueberries. I'll tell you, Nutella and sliced bananas is out of this world, right? So go ahead, try and experiment. Believe me, you got the kids in the kitchen, anything in the pantry is going to be fair game, right? We have this at home. Jada, what about the cookie butter?
Oh.
We have this Biscoff cookie butter, which is unbelievable. And that's another one. Some of that with the chocolate chips melted. We love this. So one of the things, again, as this is in the oven, I'm going to please tell you, make sure you check out these recipes, as well as all the other great recipes on redstaryeast.com/platinum. Here's another question. Should you let the crust cool before adding the toppings? This is one of those that, depending on what you're making, okay, sometimes that little bit of residual heat from the crust will help you spread things like Nutella, or maybe spread. Anthony's going to do a beautiful another pizza in a little while. But something that's normally a little bit stiffer will definitely become more spreadable with the residual heat. What I like to do, I talked about this earlier. I took a lot of, I par-baked a lot of these crusts ahead of time. The great thing about these is that you can stack these all up. Once they're all cool, you can stack these all up. And now if you're having a party, simply just take a crust, put your toppings, everything else on top, and stick them in the oven for a few minutes. This s'mores pizza was 4 minutes with just the sugar on top of it, made the crust nice and crispy and brown, and then we put the Nutella, we put the graham crackers, the marshmallows, and baked it for another 2 minutes, which it's going right now. After you're all done with your party and you've got all of these crusts all done, take them, put them, wrap them up in a bag, put them some plastic wrap around them, and then stick these right inside of your freezer. So now all of a sudden when you're ready to have a party, or maybe it's that Monday night and you don't know what to cook for dinner, the kids are all at home doing e-learning, you need a quick afternoon snack, take one of these out. These slack out of the freezer within probably 4 or 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden you've got a great fast afternoon lunch. So these par-baked crusts, look at how beautiful these are, very easy. And these s'mores pizzas are looking phenomenal. So what we're doing, we're gonna put them like this.
Marshmallow bubbles. What if
Look at how puffy those marshmallows got.
What if that was a real thing? Puffy marshmallows.
What would you do with it?
I just eat it. I would just no, what I would do is I would just take them off the pizza with Nutella in them and just eat them.
Just pop them in, like a little snack.
Yeah, that's good.
So what we've got, we put some little bit of chocolate syrup inside of these little squirt bottles, making it a little bit easier for their small hands to manage. And what they're going to do is they're going to make some zigzag lines all across the top. At that point, once they're done, we like to finish with a little bit of powdered sugar, and that powdered sugar is just going to be that one last piece that all of a sudden is going to put this pizza you're making all over social media, and your friends are going to be envious of what you did at home. What else? Do we have any more questions? Oh, here's another one. Can you add spices or herbs to the dough? Yes, absolutely. But you need to beware because some spices, okay, will increase what they call the pH or the acidity of the dough. If some of these spices, like things like garlic powder or maybe even cinnamon, all those things will act as a dough conditioner. They'll cause the dough to work really, really fast, and all of a sudden you might notice that the dough is collapsing. All right? So be careful if you're using herbs or any kinds of spices, but we definitely love that. But if you're using herbs, the other thing I love is get yourself some beautiful fresh herbs, maybe some parsley or some basil or some rosemary or whatever herbs you like. And my suggestion is, especially if you're using a machine, use them, put those ingredients in right at the end of mixing. Because there's nothing worse than putting maybe some basil or some parsley into a dough, and then all of a sudden you've got a bright green pizza dough. So fold them in at the very end of the mix, maybe that last minute that the machine is on, or when you're kneading, to fold that last bit of that ingredient, kind of get it uniform through, and it'll be just perfect. How are these looking? We ready to cut, girls, and taste them?
I think they're ready.
Yeah.
You did an awesome job.
Ready?
So what we're going to do, go ahead and give me one nice cut right across, cut from here to there.
Hold it good and solid.
There you go. Push down. Oh, listen how crispy that is.
All right.
Beautiful.
I wish you could like make the thing louder.
Now,
How they could.
go ahead
Do
and
another
cut
one.
this all the way down.
Did you go all the way through?
Let's see. Did it cut all the way
I'm gonna
through?
lick this thing.
Oh, definitely
I would
Leo's
do
kid.
that.
Okay. This
six
is one of those, again, I mean, talking about this, I know that, maybe you've seen my daughter on live feeds and doing things in the kitchen with me. But again, I can't stress enough, we're talking platinum moments. And this is one of those great things that when we're talking about this, I'm going to remember these memories for the rest of my life. I'm sure Anthony's going to as well. And, talking about sharing these maybe someday with our grandkids, or them saying, hey, remember when we were on the TV with Red Star Yeast? Jada, give your pitch for Red Star Yeast. Come on. What were you saying about Red Star earlier?
No.
Look at these beautiful pieces. You guys ready to try these?
Yes.
Go ahead, let's try them.
Get out my line.
You could tell Anthony's from New York because he cut his in triangles, and we in Chicago, we cut ours in squares, right? So we got a little of both. I don't know. What do you
This is
guys think?
heavy duty, huh?
Is that pretty good? This crust, I don't know if you can see this, but this crust is so bubbly and so
Best
airy.
pizza I've ever had.
That's pretty good.
Oh, forget about it. Stop. You don't need more than a piece or two of this. It's too much. It is awesome. So,
I'm bringing this home.
how about some other questions? What else do we got? One of the things that we talked about earlier was the dough enhancers inside of this platinum yeast. These dough enhancers, what they do, it's something that Red Star took really seriously out of all these years of technology that went behind creating this yeast. And they figured out that if they put some of these natural dough enhancers into the yeast already, when you go ahead and you mix your dough, you're going to see that that dough is going to have a higher rise, right? It's going to lock those air bubbles in. The best thing that we love about a good pizza is how light and airy it is, right? How many times have you guys gone to a pizzeria and maybe you have a couple slices of pizza and you feel like you just ate a brick, right? This is one of those things that the dough is going to rise, stay in its shape, giving you ultimately a lighter crust. There's nothing worse, and we do a lot of classes here at the Academy, and we have a lot of people say, you know what, I tried a recipe for the first time, and it didn't work out, and yeah, I'm probably never going to try it again. This is one of those things that when you see how easy this is, and you get those successful results on the first crack, that you're going to be inspired to continue baking. Maybe you go from pizzas and you try some bread, or maybe you get these little kids laughing in the kitchen with you, right? Creating more of those platinum moments. This, at the end of the day, is really what Red Star spent all this time on. It was not just about yeast, it was about the experience. And this is what we love about all of this. We got another question. What's your favorite pizza topping? I'm going to say I'm born and raised in Chicago. My favorite pizza topping has definitely got to be Italian sausage. I love an Italian sausage pizza. I love a really thin crust pizza that's super crispy, maybe in that tavern style when the sauce and the cheese goes all the way to the edge and you got the sausage on top. This is one of those arguments that we've had all the time. Is the sausage supposed to go under the mozzarella or on top of the mozzarella? I started making pizzas at a very, very young age, and the thing that I learned really early in life was everything goes on top, because what are you trying to hide, right? So this is one of the reasons I love that. What are your favorite toppings?
Well, my favorite topping used to be cheese, but now that I had this, it is marshmallows and chocolate.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that your favorite pizza is going to have dessert toppings on it. This might even go back to the argument someday about pineapple belonging on pizza or not, right? The guys in Italy right now are all rolling on their sides saying, Leo, you're a master instructor, one of 100 in the world, and your kid's talking about marshmallows on top of her pizza. How great is this? What about you? What about Gabriella? What's your favorite?
What's your favorite pizza?
This.
This one?
S'mores also?
That's so great.
Are you sure?
I love this s'mores pizza as well. So again, this is really cool. What we're going to do, we're going to put this to the side now. And I want to give Anthony a chance. We talked about some of the favorite pizzas, and Anthony makes this awesome pizza that we actually go nuts for, and it's right in line with summertime. We're talking about summer grilling and platinum moments and being around the grill in the backyard with your family, a nice sunny day. Anthony's going to talk about a pizza that he makes right now, which is out of this world. What do you like on your pizza, Anthony? What is this?
So this one today we're going to do, which is actually one of my wife's favorites, is it's going to be the grilled dough. I'm going to use this is actually a spicy fig jam. It's a hot fig jam that I'm going to spread onto the dough. What's that?
Can I help you?
You want to help me?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to take some of this and then you can spread some of this around.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to
So
put this
fig
on.
jam is literally figs that's pureed into almost like a loose paste, and that paste looks like they infused it with some chilies, right? So maybe some Calabrian chilies or maybe some just crushed red pepper. I don't know exactly what's in there, but these are some really awesome figs that we use this a lot. And then, Anthony, I also see that you've got some fresh figs there as well.
We're going to finish it with some fresh figs just to give that fresh summer feel. And
this is actually
so
the
a little
season,
sweet.
right?
We're into season now. A little sweet, a little savory. This one has some nice blue cheese on it. So I'm going to put the fig jam. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of blue cheese on top. And then just like when we did the s'mores pizza, I'm going to put this into the oven for about 2 minutes. just to warm up the jam and to melt a little bit the blue cheese.
Once you pull this out, that dough is going to be really nice and crispy and browned. Really, again, like Anthony just said, what we're doing is just letting that fig puree or that fig jam just melt a little bit, kind of binding with pulling in that blue cheese, which is also going to melt a little bit. And then what's your step after this? What are we going to do as soon as you pull this out?
So as soon as it comes out, I'm going to top it with some fresh sliced prosciutto and some fresh figs and a little bit of Italian chestnut honey. So it's just going to give it a little bit more sweetness. It's a little savory with the chili in the fig puree. It's got a little bit of heat to it, so it hits just about every point: sweet, savory, and a little bit of heat. So we're going to let that go.
This is actually a really beautiful pizza, and again, I think that this reminds me, talking another platinum moment between me and Anthony. Anthony and I, 2 years ago, were in Parma, Italy together, and I think that we ate so much prosciutto and Parmigiano Reggiano that I think we hurt the economy a little bit because they were all of a sudden a deficit. They didn't have enough, but we literally ate prosciutto for breakfast.
Prosciutto, that's for
we had
sure.
it for lunch, we had it for dinner, and then at night we'd go out to a bar for a coffee and they'd have the machine and they'd be like, "You gonna slice some of that?" And we'd be eating again, a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano. What's better than that?
We went on prosciutto tours. Wherever we found prosciutto, we stopped.
That was really awesome. We got any more questions? Okay, so now what we're gonna do, the pizza's coming out of the oven, and we're gonna take this pizza and Anthony's gonna finish it with the rest of his toppings. Anthony, do you like to put the toppings directly on the pizza, or would you cut this first? How would you do it?
So what I think I'm going to do is I got a cutter. I think what I'll do is I'll cut it first.
Hold on, I'll get you a clean cutter. How does a pizza school run out of cutters? Here.
There we go.
Don't worry, we know Mr. Red Star. We got plenty of pizza cutters. We ain't running out. Here, Anthony.
This was my question before.
Go ahead.
All right.
Look at that.
So we're going to take this. I'll cut it in squares, only because it's a rectangular pizza, so that this way it's okay.
We call that the party cut, right? The party pizza.
The party
You're going to
cut.
share it. You're going to make memories. Come on, Anthony.
How does that look? How does that smell? Smell good?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm going to take
Can I smell
my
it?
prosciutto. Yes, you can. How does that smell? Good? We'll take a little bit of prosciutto,
I'm going to clean up over here.
put it on each piece.
Can I help you, Daddy?
Go ahead, take a piece of prosciutto and put it on. You see the cuts?
It's really sticky.
And then go ahead, put that one on. And then
Here's
we'll
another
sprinkle.
question. Do different pizzas require different oven temperatures?
And then we're gonna
So
sprinkle some
this
figs.
is
You wanna
another
take a
really
couple of
important
figs?
thing.
Put it on.
Absolutely. If you're one of those people that puts 10 pounds of stuff on top of your pizza, if you're that guy out there that loves the meat lover's pizza, heavy on mozzarella, heavy on sauce, heavy on 14 kinds of meat on there, well, guess what? You're going to stick this tiny thin base into the oven at 450 degrees. You might say, you know what? The bottom is really, really done, and we barely even started cooking the toppings. So this is why when we talk about pizza, it's really important to understand the balance of the pizzas. One of the problems with grilled pizza that I've seen so many people ask me about in the past is that the way we generally see pizzas made on the grill, you bake your crust, you flip it over, you put your cheese, your sauce, everything on top, you close the lid, and by the time the cheese is ever melted, the bottom is completely obliterated, it's black, it's destroyed, right? But using this method, if you can understand the balance of the temperature to topping ratio, you're going to be able to extend the bake a little bit more, ultimately giving you that beautiful toasted colored cheese. Your ingredients on top should definitely be cooked. I like to do, this is one of my tips, okay? If you're going to use things like Italian sausage or vegetables like mushrooms or green peppers or anything like that, I love to kind of give those a quick saute ahead of time, because this pizza is going to cook so quickly in the oven that if you were to use, let's say, something like raw sausage or maybe even a raw mushroom, that's going to give a lot of moisture on top of this pizza, and it's going to be very wet. So by cooking these ingredients maybe even a little bit ahead of time, you're going to be able to create a better baked pizza and ultimately more uniform in the doneness. We got another question. Can you mix and knead the dough? What was the rest of the question? I didn't read it. hold it up again. Can you, can you mix and knead the dough in a stand mixer? So yes, absolutely you can use a stand mixer. Pick your favorite one. In that stand mixer, you got to remember though, it's a motor. You're incorporating heat and you're also incorporating some stress into the dough. So it's very important that we don't overwork the dough because the idea is that we want this skin to, or this pizza crust to be open and airy and light, okay? So absolutely use this technique. If you're using a stand mixer, don't use that mixer with the dough for more than 8 minutes. Use 8 minutes as a guide if you need 2 more minutes, but never ever go longer than that because all you're doing is destroying this dough. You guys have seen a lot of stuff. We've asked a lot of different questions, right? And I've answered a lot of different questions. And at the end of the day, I think that the moral of this story, the thing that we love the most, we're creating memories. These platinum moments are really important to us. We grew up in these old Italian families, right? And we brought a lot of those traditions from Italy here to the United States. And maybe for us, we make platinum moments every day. But at home, this is something that I want you to recreate with your family. Okay, so what we want to do, you can get the links to all these recipes, again, that we're making today. They're going to be located in this post. So if you go into the post itself, you'll find the link going to the recipes, which you can find at redstaryeast.com/platinum. Okay, on this, you guys got anything else you want to add over here?
They want to keep making pizzas.
They want to keep making pizzas?
Yeah.
We got dough. Let's keep making pizzas, all right?
I can make one?
What we're going to do, I want to say, guys, I think we're going to sign off. We've had a lot of fun with you all today. On behalf of us, me, Leo Spizzirri, my partner Anthony Iannone, and all of us from the North American Pizza and Culinary Academy, we want to thank everybody for joining us. The Platinum Moments series is something from Red Star. Again, make sure you go to the Red Star page. You can find a lot of beautiful, interesting content on redstaryeast.com. All the Platinum Moments series is at /platinum. If you make any of these recipes today with us, we want to see all your stuff. So make sure that you use the hashtag Platinum Moments. Don't forget to tag Red Star Yeast at Red Star Yeast. Don't forget to tag at Ask Leo Pizza. If you want to find out more information about what we're doing here at the Academy, you can find us at pizzaculinaryacademy.com. You can find us on social media at Pizza Culinary Academy. Everything else that we're doing here, guys, comes so naturally. Maybe for us, we don't think about this anymore. It's come so easy to us. But some of you at home, again, this is one of those things that I'm encouraging you. This is so simple. You saw a 6- and a 7-year-old do it along with us today. And I encourage you all, if you want to come take a class, come take it with us. But I encourage you, watch the videos. Everything is in there step by step, and you'll be able to have a lot of success at home. So on behalf of us and all of our friends at Red Star Yeast, we loved and thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate the support, and we hope to have you all in class soon, and we look forward to all of those platinum moments that you're going to create, and let's create them together. Thank you, everybody. Guys, say goodbye.
Say goodbye.
Follow my YouTube
Bye, everybody.
channel.